Preferences give you the ability to get under the hood of your favorite applications like Cinema 4D and change how it works in some fashion. So I'm going to go to the Edit menu and choose Preferences. Keep in mind, if you don't need to change anything, I suggest that you don't, because you don't always want to get in here and just play around. The only thing I typically change are my hotkeys so that I can hit keys on my keyboard to perform certain tasks. So once again, I'm going to go back to my preferences and talk about some of the ones that are least harmful. All right. So the first one we have here is interface. Now, you see that we have the ability to change the language we're dealing with and also the scheme. Now, mine is the dark scheme. Makes sense. I like Star Wars and I always cheer for Darth Vader. But if you want to go Jedi, you can go light. And now everything is a nice light scheme here. Typically, the darker one's easier on my eyes, and I can focus on my modeling as opposed to having so much light coming into my eyes. If you'd like to change the font for your GUI, you can do that here as well. If you no longer would like to see any help, you can deselect this. All right, so that's something that you can do right away as you get more and more familiar with the application. Now, if you have your own custom color profiles that you like to use, you can go to the View menu and you can change that here. All right, so as you can see, there's the linear, there's this sRGB, and you can load from monitor if you need be. Like I said before, I usually keep everything as it is, but some profiles do have different looks. For example, a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler as far as the entire interface of your monitor. You can change how many recent files show up in this list here. So if I go to File and I choose, let's say, Recent Files, as you can see, I have 7 currently in my list, and you can change that number if you like. You can also, if you want to, have the application automatically save for you every 5 minutes or whatever you choose here. And you can change your texture paths. Units is very handy when you want to change your unit of display. For example, if you look down here, let me go choose something real fast. Let me go ahead and grab a cube. You see that my size is in inches, but if you want to change that, you can do that very easily. So you can have millimeters or whatever you want there. So it can go to kilometers, meters, and more. Of course, this is very handy when you're creating different kinds of things. So if you're working on something like Battlestar Galactica, inches is not going to help. You're going to need kilometers or planets. And you can also change the way the colors are displayed or the color space. For example, RGB is red, green, and blue, or you could use hue, saturation, and value or more. Let's hop over to the content browser. So you can change the width and the height of the thumbnails inside the content browser if you like. And speaking of content, you can also look at the materials in different ways. So the default size you could choose here. You can change the shader default and the material project default as well. So you have a sphere and all kinds of other shapes in here.